We're going to go into, we've been kind of going around the world, and some of the, of course, we covered the female Gardasil in South America. We've covered some of the antics that are going on in Africa, and this one we're going into India again, and the World Horror Organization, commonly known as the World Health, which is a lie in and of itself. That's one place that needs to be shut down. All the illnesses and disease comes out of that place somewhere along the line, or the plethora of research centres they have dotted around the world. The World Health Organization back in 2014 declared India polio free, and yet here we are 5 years later, and close to 500,000 young Indians are experiencing polio-like paralysis. Why? Because they vaccinated them. Is why. 500,000 in 5 years. 100,000 Indians per year. Young ones as well. And a new study titled Correlation Between Non-Polio Acute Flaccid Paralysis Rates with Pulse Polio Frequency in India has been published in the Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health. Now, the data obtained from the National Polio Surveillance Programme, as reported by the Government of India, and the findings corroborate well over a decade of research showing a strong link between rates of non-polio acute flaccid paralysis and India's oral polio vaccine. Now, the incidence of polio acute flaccid paralysis has decreased. However, the NPAFP rate has increased since the 2000. And in 2005 there was a sharp increase, more than doubling, in India's non-polio acute flaccid paralysis NPAFP rate, which coincided with the introduction of a high-potency monovalent vaccine. Gates again. And the new vaccine contains 5 times the number of type 1 viruses compared to the previously used one. And the pulse polio immunisation refers to periodically vaccinating all children under the age of 5 against the polio virus. Now, the study's authors previously showed in 2012 that the subsequent pulses sharply increased the rate of NPAFP when more than 6 rounds of pulse polio are used in a single year. 6 vaccines in a year. And in the recent study, rates in India from 2000 to 2017 were examined and again found a high correlation between the number of pulse polio rounds conducted and the NPAFP rate in the state. And the researchers say for each round of pulse polio, there was an increase of 1.4 cases of NPAFP for the under 15 population per 100,000. And the highest NPAFP rates were seen in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. There were increases of 2.7 cases per under 15 per population of 100,000 for each round. Of course, they were using 6 in a year. Now, India had been considered polio-free for over 6 years in the absence of wild polio transmission. It was expected that the AFP rate would reduce. However, that never happened, and the exaggerated NPAFP rates of anywhere between 6.43, which is 3 times, to 35 per 100,000, when it should be 1.4. 35. That's 17,000% increase. And in the study, fall well below the expected rate of 2 per 100,000. and a total of 640,000 children developed the NP-AFP in those years. 640,000 after the vaccines. And there was an additional 491,000 children paralysed above the expected numbers. And the authors state, our findings suggest that the increase in NP-AFP was indeed an adverse effect to the pulse polio immunisation programme, which was done by Gates again. And these numbers are just artefacts related to are these numbers just artefacts related to over-enthusiastic reporting by governments, was the question. But the analysis showed that there were 1/5 of the cases of NP-AFP were followed up for 60 days in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh, and 8.5% of them had died, and 35% were found to have been left with paralysis. Now, the 2007 analysis data found that the mortality rate in patients was twice the mortality rate for the wild polio. And the first detail that demands attention was the rates of NP-AFP were higher, in most cases more than doubling, which coincided with the introduction of the monovalent vaccine. Second, it was after India declared polio free, was shown to decline with the reduction in the pulse polio doses as the country tapered back the polio vaccine, and then in came the Gates Foundation and increased it. 1 year declared polio free, 2014. 5 years later, 8.5% have died, 640 children developed it, and 491,000 children were paralysed. Unbelievable.